Entitled Parents. Entitled Dad shocked at breastfeeding. I was with my little baby with a checkup visit in a children's polyclinic. There is a nursing room with 2 comfy chairs. It's a long narrow room arranged like this: door, changing table, screen, chair #1, another screen, chair #2, window. I come in, the chair closer to the door is empty, another one is occupied. I sit down, start nursing. Mom from the chair #2 soon leaves. In comes another woman with a baby and her husband. He enters first, passes the first screen, sees me mid-process. I'm not giving a fuck. He turns around without a word, not even checking the second chair, and walks his wife out the door. And as he closes it, I hear him saying loudly, "Did you see that? She didn't even put away her boob." I get it, supportive husband follows his wife and kid to the doctors and stuff. But did he really enter a nursing room and expected women in here to hide their breasts to not disturb him? Mom kidnapped our kids and said she didn't know it was against the rules. So my wife and I have 2 kids, a nearly 3-year-old, and an 18-month-old. We won a cruise to the Bahamas for 2, meaning the kids couldn't go. My mother volunteers to watch the kids. Great, it's all settled, we're going to get away for a week and have some time for ourselves. As the date approaches, Mom starts talking about having the kids at her house for the week. We told her we were under the impression that she was going to be at our house. All the kids' stuff is here. Our home is a single story and east to track the kids in. It's significantly closer to all of their doctors for emergencies. We're talking 20 minutes vs an hour and a half, and our house is baby-proofed where hers is not. So we said we really felt they should be at our house, and if that didn't work for her we would make other arrangements. She said our house was fine, but days later says she would like to be at her house because my siblings who still live with her could help watch the kids. These are the same siblings who we were told needed to be instructed on how to be nice to toddlers, which is why we weren't invited to Thanksgiving. No thanks, we'll get you support through our own channels, people you know and like who can pop in to get you relief and help out. We leave for our trip, though as we are showing Mom where everything is and going over food and snacks, she's more interested in playing with the kids than learning where the diapers are. So day 1 in the boat, my wife uses the boat's internet to do a video call to check on the kids. All seems fine, but my mother tells her not to call again for the rest of the trip because it may upset the children. My wife doesn't tell me about that part of their convo right away, but as soon as she does, we call her back. When she answers, she's at her house, with the kids, and you can see brand new kids apparel and paraphernalia in the background. I asked her what happened and she tells me she was really sick and thinks she got norovirus, WTH. Super nauseous. It was all she could do to call her brother who lives 5 minutes from me to have him pack the kids in my wife's car and drive an hour and a half to her house. So, you were so sick that you couldn't watch the kids, but you could drive home in a car that wasn't yours and endanger kids that aren't yours in the event that you pass out, or spontaneously start vomiting while on the freeway, potentially killing our children. Why didn't you call the list of people who said they'd come help? They had set aside parts of their weeks to come out and support with their time and money. Do they even know the kids aren't home? Do you know one person is staying in a hotel to be 10 minutes from you in case of emergency? Now they're an hour and a half from home and none the wiser for what's happening. The first thing she says is she really was sick. I never accused her of not being sick. I doubted it, but I never said it. Then she tells me how dare I judge her for her decisions and she doesn't have to justify herself to me, and that she doesn't have to watch my kids. I told her to pack my kids up in the car and take them home. Someone else was going to watch them. When she dropped the kids off, she was nasty to their new caretakers and sulked. As soon as I knew the kids were safe, I sent her a message saying she clearly didn't respect us as parents. Doesn't matter how many kids she raised, these are ours, and she sure as hell needed to justify herself and check in with us if she was too sick to do her job. We have the right to know what's going on with our kids, and any sane person would call and ask us what we wanted them to do before packing the kids up and taking them away. If the roles were reversed, she would have absolutely lost her mind, and I know because I've seen it, and that she didn't need to see the kids again if she was going to go that far out of her way to undermine us and then act like a spoiled child to family and friends when she gets caught. Then next day she replied to the message saying she didn't realize she did anything that was that far out of expected parameters, yeah, her words, and that she recognized that parents had their own rules and she would have to learn ours. Never did anything resembling sorry come across in that message or any other. We blocked her on social media and haven't spoken to her since. Entitled mom becomes enraged over another kid. TLDRM is entitled but not over her own kids. Someone else's kid. I volunteer at this place and recently helped out with an education thingy. Parents and kids of all ages would come to this little workshop for the day and would learn some artistic things. One of the kids is not happy to be there. He's with his mom and little brother. He refuses to do anything. Keeps saying, "No, I want to go home, go away." At first I just thought, typical 12-13-year-old boy. There's another family there, a mom, M, and her two kids who are around the same age, the other boy. The rest of the children are a fair bit younger. M knows this other boy, her son is friends with him, so she tries to encourage him to engage a bit. To the point she's ignoring her own kids when they're trying to show her their work. Over an hour into this boy refusing to work, making rude comments, and basically wanting to leave, the person running the workshop asks to talk with him and his mother. They all come to the conclusion that he would be happier at home and that they can organize another session better suited for him later on. His mom returns to the workshop to be with her other son. Upon hearing the news that this boy has gone home, M starts kicking off at the person running it, accusing them of kicking a child out due to his additional needs. This workshop is inclusive of all needs, that's the point of it. I personally feel like they were inclusive of his needs because they let him leave. It was stressing him out, he wasn't happy, he wanted to go home, and they organized a session that is better suited for him on a later date and a better day for him. Also his own mother agreed, so I have no clue why this other lady was butting into his defense. She's screaming and yelling in front of the children and forces her kids to leave with her. They didn't want to leave and were having a great time. The boy who left, his mom is just stood there fully shocked, trying to explain that it's okay. Oh, and we got the classic line that she's calling the manager. My theory is that she thinks she has this special connection with him where she is the only one who can get through to him and get him to completely turn around and enjoy his day. Since she was more focused on what he was doing and not her own kids. But with him going home, she can't do that. She also complained about my mate the day before for not working through her unpaid lunch break. Am I the unreasonable one for wanting to use my car when I'm home from business trips? I will say this, I don't think my mom's entitled, but rather she had entitled moments. I travel for work, gone weeks to months at a time. I have a car but leave it with my mom because she doesn't have one, and told her she could use it. Side note, she lives with my dad, they are separated, and her two grandkids which she cares for. I pay the car note and insurance. Whenever I come home I use that time to get things done like doctor's appointments, dentist, hair, stuff like that. I always do my best to let my mom know my schedule and appointments. So here's what happened. Day 2 home, I had no appointments, just wanted to go the gym. My mom told me she had to take my niece to a club during the time I had planned for the gym. That's fine, I understood, so I just went to the gym later. Day 3, had a doctor's appointment along with a tax appointment. Plans were to go the gym, go to doctors, then taxes. I told my mom about my plans, except for the tax thing because that was new and I got the appointment the day before. As I'm leaving for the gym, my mom asks if I can drop her off so she can get some blood work done. A little miffed because it was a bit out my way, but whatever. I assumed she was going to walk back because the place is within walking distance of the house. As I drop her off, she asks if I can pick her up. When I get her, turns out the place was too busy, she didn't have an appointment. She asked what I was doing the next day, which I told her I had a hair appointment. She knew this, as I've told her before I got home and when I got home. Now she's mad because I need my car to get my stuff done and she can't find a time to get her blood work done. This seems to happen often when I come home, where I have to accommodate around her schedule despite the fact that it's my car and I plan things out in advance, and let her know. She ends up getting frustrated and mad, which makes me upset too. Seriously, I'm wondering if I'm the unreasonable one in this situation?